All right, well, good. I'm glad we're in. Good hair talk, team. Good hair talk. So I think Andrea's working on something. I forget where she is today. I don't know if Rick's on because it's been his birthday weekend.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on there. So we'll dig in, team. Hi, Louisa. How you doing?
Hey, Louisa.
So let's dig in then. Louisa, I'm going to come to you first, actually. Win and challenge. What's been happening?
I have sent out about 20 or so speech proposals.
Good.
Some of them I haven't heard back, and I don't think I will.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Challenge.
Oh, and I'm planning the workshop with at the doctor's office.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Even though he told me to text him, and he always tries to respond right away, but there's been a little communication delay when I set a date and tell him, does this date work, and then doesn't really hear back yet. But anyways, I'm setting a date, and we're going to start promoting the workshops in his office.
Very good, very good. What's the? Have you got a deadline for that? Then you got a date for that when you're going to start doing that?
Oh, I already set the date, September 21st, because he wants to give plenty of time to promote to his patients. So I set a month out. He's just not getting back to me on whether or not that works. And I was thinking of setting a free eBright event for people to register because it's a free workshop and we need some way of capturing the emails. So I thought that way we can communicate with the workshop attendees.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, that makes sense. Good. Okay, so that's a good win challenge. And how's everything else going? Things with the Facebook and some of the more marketing-oriented stuff that we talked about last time?
With what?
Some of the more marketing-oriented stuff. So some of the ads that you were looking at doing, some of the Facebook work that you were looking at doing.
Yeah, I think we're going to do that, and we're going to be more targeted. I'm going to do some search on the people, the followers of other people, audience of other people that I think are the same audience to get a sense of the demographics. And then we're going to do ads to the same people. And I'm also in the middle of trying to put together a little quick 1-minute video or something like that for the ad.
Okay, that sounds good. Good. Okay, then we can catch up in a bit more specifics as well on that next week when we chat. So, what are the actions for this week? What have you got to physically get done this week?
I'm going to get done the ad campaign.
Okay. Good. Cool. Thank you very much, Raf. What do you like, sir? Give us a quick 1-2 on the wins and the challenges. And
I'll tell you what. I have a serious challenge that I think I have the visual for a win, but this one's incredible. Like you know, when you start this stuff, business, entrepreneurship journeys, you don't think that these weird little things happen. So all of a sudden, I'm handing out stickers. I'm still trying to do that. That was another thing, kind of get back in the saddle, start just handing out stickers, right? That's the bread and butter of this. All of a sudden, I start getting all these crazy emails. Like, let's say you go on my website, so you go from sticker to email sign up. But then all of a sudden, I get 5 from Mark. I get 20 from Carm. I get 17 from Louisa. And I'm like, what is going on? Well, somehow in the ones and zeros of computer-ness, my email link is not broken. It's the, you know, when you click on, hey, take me there, and then you get this other little message that says, thank you for your support, or follow me on Twitter, or whatever it is that you say, that little message that you say after, that little bit is broken. So people are putting in their name and their email, and then they're hitting the button, and nothing's happening. So then they're hitting the button again, and then nothing's happening. So at first I was kind of like very annoyed because I couldn't figure it out, but the saving grace is that the link from the email to the button, so I get an email every time they hit it, still works. So I still captured the people, but then after analyzing it all, I'm thinking, this is amazing because I have one guy that hit the button 32 times.
Wow.
So he really wanted some served, and he's like, why am I not getting served? Why am I not getting served? Why am I not getting served? 32 times. And then as I was checking the timestamps, it happened within 8 minutes. So one of the things that I really started thinking about was kind of like what you said. This is how I'm going to turn this into a win. One, I got to fix the computer glitch. But in fixing the computer glitch, I'm going to do kind of like what you do, Mark, where I'm going to do like a little oops email, like, oops, guys, message from the founder on this glitch. Sorry that it failed because, you know, this is what this is about. But thank you so much for being a part of this. This is the message that you should have seen, you know, and I did a screenshot and a little JPEG. And then on top of that, I'm actually going to do a little JLD action. John Lee Dumas does this, where he sends a personalized YouTube video. So it's 7 videos that I'm going to do here. They're like 30 seconds in the next, since the last 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. So it's 7 different people. And then I'm basically going to do a little video, say, hey, this is Raph. Thank you so much for hanging with me and for doing this. And I'm going to try sort of that angle and see where it yields, because I think it's kind of neat how it happened. So anyway, that's sort of my challenge and my win all wrapped into one. I have to figure out all the computerness in the background. And it's basically, I set up things sloppy back in 2016. And now those links broke because I don't own the back end.
Well, that's good, though. At least you're putting more personality into it as well. You've been more comfortable with that. So that's a big win, dude. Well played on that one.
Yeah. So I was kind of just really upset. I was just going to send a sorry, thank you email. And I thought, you know what? Let's really just make this our own. And in that, I really feel that I'm starting to really come about. Here's another really cool win, is that we're going to make this whole podcasting thing a family affair. And I kind of told you, Mark, sharing with the rest of the group, is that my son, Ethan, we're going to do, well, I say we're going to do, he says he's going to do. So I'm not sure how it's going to pan out. I might just be a co-host. I might just be a guest. Who knows? But we're going to do a podcast. And I'm taking him to MapCon, which is a conference up here in Pennsylvania, a smaller entity. And because it's his podcast, we're going to talk about cars. He's into supercars, hypercars. I'm into cars too. Carm, there's that inside connection, right? So we're saying we're going through the journey, the lens of a 10-year-old on anything that has an RPM gauge. And so we're going to start that. But because that one doesn't have a significant meaning to me, I guess, I mean, it's just sort of kind of fun. It's really allowing me to break through with my served radio, and I actually have brainstormed. The creativity came flowing. I have episode 000 all the way to 007 on paper and ready to speak it out. So like I have like a loose format, kind of like, you know how when you're preparing for a speech, you kind of have the structure. Anyway, so I'm very excited because the day has finally come. I'm finally arriving where I'm excited to push forward with that. So it's all coming together.
Good, man. Good wins. Well played. Well played. Yeah, solve the tech issue, and that's done with. Top stuff, my man. Calm. What do we like? Winning challenges. How's the week been?
Hey, everybody. Okay. I got a new honor card created for the shows that are coming up.
Nice.
And yeah, I kind of recreated it and refreshed everything. Got 1,000 of those made. I got an email from a lady. Her name is Kay Miller, and she goes, "Hey, my husband's an author, and we've done a little work in the aftermarket, not a lot, but he's a big consultant. He's a big speaker, #1 book on the Amazon thing. Interested in interviewing him." So I took a look at his website and I said, yes. Within 2 days, I got his book, and I consumed 3/4 of it yesterday, and it is phenomenal. It is really, really phenomenal. I took so many notes. It was almost like he was speaking to me about the branding of my show and me and everything. And it was, how to be uncopyable. So nothing like being able to do an interview with an author who wants to do it with me, but having read his book and it really will. I can create a great episode that will lend itself to my audience. We talked about that disruptor last week, that company that wanted to advertise with me. Mm-hmm. I'm meeting with them Friday because I did some additional research about them, during the last few days after our phone call. And I found out that the money that they got $5 million investment. And I found out who it was. And I found out that company is called CarMax. And they sell cars, but they do not want to repair anymore. So they really want to use the RepairPal network for car repairs. Mm-hmm. That lends itself in a big way to make me feel comfortable about the true intentions of RepairPal and CarMax together. And a really good friend of mine had dinner with one of their vice presidents last week. And when I saw that in Facebook, I immediately called him up and I said, hey, what did you learn? Because he and I talked about RepairPal as possibly being a sponsor. And a month ago, it wasn't good. This time, it looks like he's gotten some fresh new information, which would lend itself in a more comfortable way for me. So I've opened myself up to having a meeting with them. Challenges, summertime events, just everything's great, just good.
Good. That's a good challenge to have. No real challenge. How are you getting on with the VA? Just last part of call.
I'm not sure, Mark. In fact, I just sent him a message in Slack to ask him how he designs his Monday's tasks, because obviously it's now like 11 o'clock at night for him. And I'm curious, what does he do when he gets up at 9 a.m. until now? And I just don't think he did any work for me during his Monday daytime. So I'm just curious, Mark, if some of these VAs have 2 people they work for and they bounce around. I'm paying them for 40 hours. So I've got this whole thing designed in Process Street. I'm seeing what he's doing. Monday's a really, intense day for both of us. And I'm just curious. So I've basically said I really want him to have a talk with him and outline what his tasks are on Mondays. I need to maybe help him with some time management, but he's got 2 kids and 1 in the oven, which is due in like 30 days. And he's the only car. He has to drive the kids to school, the wife to work, pick up the wife with the new baby coming on. He may not get anything done for me. I don't know.
Yeah, when the new baby comes, you're going to be forgotten. Doesn't sound good, Carm.
What hours is he on the books for, Carm? Is he a night guy? Because I know some VAs up there in India, they work like mid-shift.
Yeah, Raf, he is a night guy. I mean, sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning, he's communicating with me. Not often, maybe once every 2 weeks, but he does love to work 8 at night till midnight, 1 in the morning. So I'm fine with those 4 hours, just fine. But it's that morning and that afternoon. If the kids are in school, the wife's at work. Maybe he's cleaning the house. But the fact of the matter, and doing laundry. But the fact of the matter is he could give me 4 hours. So I'm just sensing my intuition is freaking killing me.
What's he
Your intuition is going to be right.
I'm sorry, the contract?
What's he contracted for? Yeah, 10, 15, 20 hours a week?
40.
40 hours a week?
Yeah.
And how are you managing getting all the tasks to him then? Have you got a full task that's going to schedule there for him then?
Yeah, we've got Process Street has everything he needs to accomplish in that 40 hours. And Monday seems to be his toughest challenge to pull off. And last week, I literally moved the entire Process Street. I completely rearranged it, knowing my intuition was telling me that that Monday was too difficult of a day. So I moved some things around. And he's doing good. But I'm anticipating that my VA stays up with me. And right now, he's not.
Has he missed anything? Is he not?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, he's missed some MailChimps. He's gotten some MailChimps totally wrong. He's put the wrong people's names. The one from previous last week, we copy last week's, we move it around and we edit. People send me emails that says, "Hey, I was on your show last week, not again this week." And and so what I was doing, Raph, I was opening up looking at every MailChimp. I was verifying his work. Well, last week I didn't, and I got slapped upside the head.
Oh man!
You got to
and 40 hours. I mean, 40 hours a week. That's full time. That's a maximum productivity. You should basically have mini carm going.
I know, and so I'm probably 2 months into this thing, and I'm not I'm happy. He's doing a good job with some tasks.
Why don't you reduce his hours down to 20?
I'm sorry?
Why don't you reduce his hours down to 20 and see what 20 gives you? And if you reduce his hours down to 20, he gives you 5, then there's something wrong maybe. I don't know.
Well, I can't go back to – he is taking some workload off of me. There's no doubt.
Oh, okay. So you would equate that he is giving you 40 hours worth a week, just not –
No, I would equate that he's giving me 20. That's how I feel he's giving me 20. That's what I feel.
Don't worry about the hours. That's the wrong measurement, in my opinion. You're paying for the output. There's no point being.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Don't worry about
Mark, I realized that in the first 2 weeks. To me, it didn't matter when he got the job done as long as he got it done.
Exactly.
It didn't matter. If he could do the job in 30 hours, God bless him.
So you got to add some QC on that. You got to dial the process in for the QC, like who's checking what and when, what are the deadlines. Yeah. Do a daily roundup. Every single day, checking. All of our team just checks in every day. What is going on? What are they going to get done? Why didn't they get done? What they got done yesterday? If they didn't, every single day you got to be. Because then it just becomes part of it. And you got to be really specifically clear on not only tasks but prioritization of the tasks as well. Because they're not all created equal, and just build it.
Good advice, Mark. Good, yeah.
And you can even get more granular on the process as well. Like if it's the email copying, rather than just copy this email, change the names, it needs to be right. Line 1, email 1, paragraph 2, make sure you change this name to this name. Go really granular with it, because when you're QCing it, all you then do is go down the list of things.
When the MailChimp happened, that's exactly what I did. Is I literally created a chart, and a step. Here's what goes in here. Here's what needs to be changed. And he says, he was really embarrassed, very upset about it. I said that you got to post this chart on the wall. Don't reference it. I want you to be able to see it each and every time you open up, and copy and change, copy and change, copy and change. So I, you know what? I'm glad it happened, because these kinds of mistakes are huge learning curves for everybody. And, and had it not happened, it would have happened one day. Let's get the mistake made and hopefully never happen again.
It's one of those things where, it's going to happen. You just got to, that's the thing. You got to learn from it and just make sure you learn from it. Okay, cool, dude. Well, let me come back to that in a little while, because I think it's an important thing to make sure you can step out of the business anyway and not worry about that. So cool, man. Well, let's switch over to you, Rick. Happy birthday to Rick. Let's all shout happy birthday to
Hey, happy birthday, Rick.
Birthday.
Hey, thanks, gang.
Where are you, Rick?
I don't know. My camera's not kicking in for some reason. I've been screwing with it ever since I came on. So, not sure what it is, but not much to report here. Just digging out of being gone still. So, I did about 200 outreaches last week to colleges and universities. So I think that was the biggest thing. See what comes from that. And, that's about it. I think the challenge is just getting caught back up right now. So just staying steady. I imagine by Tuesday or Wednesday, I should be back over the hump and getting ready to go.
Hey, Rick.
Yep.
I listened to, maybe the first 10 minutes of the 300.
Yep.
And nice job. Congrats on that. Are you using the microphone now that you used when you record?
No, those snippets.
No, it just sounded a little scratchy. Your monologue.
No, it was a different microphone. When I was out with people, it was a completely different microphone. It was just a quick little one that was plugged into the phone.
But your opening monologue,
Yep.
it just sounded a little scratchy. Was that done while you were out?
No, that was done here.
Just
so
curious.
actually, I used this headset I'm using right now, just my Apple headset, because I just was like, fuck it, I don't feel like going and setting up the studio right now.
Okay, all right, okay.
Normally it would have been my micro. Yes, it would have been my studio.
You've got a great voice. You always sound great here on Zoom, and it just to me wasn't 100%. But that's okay. That's just me.
It's interesting because it's the same. Actually, I'm talking to you on the same headset I used when I did record that. So that's interesting.
Not being critical, just an observation.
No, it's good stuff. I'm actually getting ready to get a new microphone. The one I use for the shows, every once in a while gets a little scratchy when we're in the studio. So any recommendations, I'm open to them. But
I love my podcaster.
That's where we are.
Rode Podcaster, USB straight in. I love that thing.
What's it called again?
Rode Podcaster. RODE Podcaster. Is ace.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying whatever the AR 2100 or
the ATR is good, and it really is good. But if you want like a proper good desk mounted one, it's fucking awesome. It really is good kit. The ATR you can't go wrong with, of course, but I just like that one. Cool, man. Well, happy birthday. Hope you had a good one. It looked like you had a nice one from the Instagram-ins.
Yeah, we did.
Good, dude. That's
we
good.
Sure did. Yeah.
Sweet. Port of call for today is stats, download stats in particular. The IAB have changed their guidelines, so we're going to be communicating a hell of a lot of this stuff at podcast websites over the coming months, coming weeks even as well. Just education on exactly how stats are measured, but ultimately they're changing. This is quite pertinent, probably for everyone. In particular, Cam, for you, it's going to be interesting. The way that they were tracked, and we're going to be doing a hell of a lot of education on this because it's a real mystical thing that people don't get. So we're going to be kind of demystifying it. But basically, stats were tracked, in essence, really based on like how many times an MP3 file was downloaded or streamed from the same device on the same IP within X amount of time. That's it. It's the X amount of time. The thing that's changing is the X amount of time. So people like Libsyn, I don't know if you remember, last year Libsyn got screwed over big time. Like they changed all the stats. The IAB guidelines, I think at that time were, if the same file is downloaded and streamed from the same device on the same IP with a minimum of 1 minute downloaded or streamed or X number of packets of data downloaded, within 30 minutes, then it counts as one download. So if I wait an hour and download the same thing, it counts as 2 downloads. If I wait another 30 minutes, it counts as 3, another 30, it counts as 4. Libsyn, I think, and I don't know, but I think they were tracking it every 5 minutes, which is naughty. Because that means that within 30 minutes, you could have 6 downloads. The IAB guidelines have changed, and that time frame, that downloads within X, is now 24 hours. So that means that everyone's download stats are going to take a real hit. They're going to drop quite significantly, which is good because the stats are legit. You know, the stats are being standardized across the industry. Everyone has to follow them. And it gives you a more realistic and accurate frame of reference for downloads. It's a legitimate download. It's a, you know, the behavior of I'm listening to this show now and then in 2 hours I'm going to re-download it again. That's the real intent is not to download that twice. The real intent is to have one listen because you've deleted it by accident or you want to go back. Cam, shoot.
So what if I'm listening on Google Podcasts and I come back to it 2 or 3 hours later? I mean, it's still open on my phone. It just kind of paused and I go back and I continue to listen to it. That's still just, no matter what, before stats or after stats, that's still one download.
Yeah, just one download. So that's right. Yeah, that's just one download because it's been downloaded once. It doesn't matter when you listen to it and how you listen to it. You can only really track that data in app. Google, Spotify, Apple, they can all tell you their bits of ecosystem stuff about that. But yeah, that'll count as one download. So we're going to be releasing a hell of a lot of content about it. So it's something that our stats will be updated. Everyone's stats will be updated. But it's just worth knowing that will change your downloads. For the most part, I don't think it'll change them that much, because realistically, how often does it happen that you re-download things? It's really to stop people gaming the system, but it is just worth knowing. Just worth knowing that's coming, especially Calm. Hi, Andrea. Especially Calm from your side when you're selling numbers. Just be mindful of that.
Yeah, I will. I guess I don't want my sponsor to think that the numbers were pushed. But, it's almost like Mark. I think my audience is pure and they're just doing what lifestyle allows them to do as they listen. So maybe I will have a change because it's 24 hours. But, God, I can't imagine it being that big,
No, I agree. I don't think that
10%.
I think the shows that are like normal lifestyle-based numbers, where it's genuine people, like you said, a very pure style audience, I can't see it having that much effect.
I get it. It's almost like, wash, repeat, rinse, and if somebody's listening to it and they just loved it and they want to go back and catch it in the afternoon, especially some of these shorter one, my new tiny one, my short one, they want to catch it in the morning and catch it in the afternoon. That's still only one download. Exactly.
So like you said, I don't think it'll, because that's a legitimate person. You can be a lot clearer on saying that that's an actual person with the intent of downloading that then, versus just a bot,
So Mark, can you lead me down the nefarious path there? Because I'm more like Carm, just a normal person, and like what angle or like is it like the Fast and the Furious? Not that that's a show or nothing, but like the folks that are just trying to be pompous and shout, "I got 2,000 downloads." I mean, who is this circumventing or who's playing crooked? Like who's the dirty apple? Like I don't get it.
It's not necessarily people that are paying crooked. It's more just making sure that things are tracked properly, so that we're always getting closer to a real person.
So that the rating system is not inflated, is false and inflated.
Well, it's because if you talk to James about the radio, how the radio's measured, that's a very random, almost antiquated, normalized system based on a subset of really random behavior. They're not realistically the correct type of people to be measuring. The kind of same sort of scenario for podcasting, insofar as it's just about understanding behaviors. As we understand behaviors more and more and more, then you've got to tweak the numbers and the statistics to match that. Now, there's a lot of nefarious stuff that can go on, like there was a whole Twitter bombing thing, which was a thing a couple of years ago, where if you placed a link to the MP3 file on Twitter, the second it started streaming, it counted the download. Right, a load of crap. People were bombing it for that and just hijacking hashtags. And then there's things like bots. Most of your stats, which you guys won't see, a lot of them are bots. We filter those bots out. We'll probably give you access to that in the future. You can see how many hits you've had on your feed versus actual statistics. Blacklisted IPs that we know are just either bots or from people paying for downloads, which can be done. So there's tons of different things that we've got to filter. So it's just getting.
So now people are doing this for growth, notoriety, have the numbers so they can go to a sponsor. Is that what it is? It has.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build something legit here. I'm asking. There's this other side of people that are just trying to game the system just to get monetary value and growth.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a lot of people.
Okay.
Which is silly, really, because the CPM, if you think after $25 per 1,000 downloads, is about right on the CPM side of things. It's almost not worth it. It's pointless. You're better off monetizing your niche, which is something that we're going to spend a lot of time and content on here. That's actually what we're we're putting a book together on, because that's going to give you more long-term opportunity. You know, it's not about getting 2,000-3,000 downloads or 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000. It's about taking 200 people and turning them into an audience. You know, so Cam, go on, shoot, Stu. What were you going to say?
Mark, IAB stands for
Internet Advertising Bureau, I think.
Internet Advertising Bureau. So all of PW type, Libsyn's, Stitcher, everybody is going to raise their right hand and swear that they're doing, that the stats that they're pulling are the stats that are outlined by IAB. There's not going to be any cheaters.
Well, there's not cheaters, but a lot of people are saying they're already IAB compliant, but they change very often. The stats standards change quite often. So you can be kind of like a percentage IAB compliant, because you can strip out all the blacklists, you can strip out the streaming and so on. It's just making sure that you're as close to that compliance as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The way that we're building our new stats profile is that we're literally, every part of the IAB compliance is boom, boom, boom. Like, it will be matched like for like to the compliance. So there'll be legitimate stats on that. I don't think there are people purposely trying to game it on the hosting side. It's not in their interest to do that. It's just, are they able to move quick enough as a business to update? That's the difference.
Got it.
So it'll be much more about monetizing the community, taking the traffic and turning them into something else, moving them into a different place, getting the email addresses and so on and so forth.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of in the late 80s, early 90s, with the audio amplifier community, the audio heads, where MOSFET, MOSFET, was the standard, right? And everybody was using on the boxes of the marketing, these MOSFET, right? This amplifier is 100 watts by 2 or whatever. And then as time happened, people would just know that, oh, that company over there, they take MOSFET to the letter of the law. That company over there is kind of loose with the MOSFET standard. Mm-hmm. So if you buy a 100 watt amp from them, you really might just barely be getting 100 watts. Where these guys, if you buy a 100 watt amp from them, they're very conservative. Mm-hmm. And you really are probably buying a 200 watt amp rated at 100. Yeah. It was this kind of thing where you just sort of know who's doing that. Is that basically what possibly can happen?
Pretty much, and it's varying degrees of it as well. So yeah, I mean, just watch out for that. We're gonna be putting a hell of a lot of content out on that, updating the stats system over the next few months. But that's kind of nice, because that's in preparation for the new portion of the hosting that we're launching over the next few months as well. There's going to be a lot of linking in there around building your influence with smaller numbers as well, tied into that hosting. So that's going to be quite interesting. So Andrew, I'll come to you in a second for wins and challenges, but any other questions and thoughts on that? I just wanted to flag it up for everyone. No? Alrighty then. So Andrea, we'll do a quick win and challenge for you then. How have you been? What's the week been like? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that. So staying on track, I did my sort of intake for brand design yesterday, and so I'll have a proposal coming and a branding playbook, and I also have scheduled a meeting for my speaking prep. That's this week as well, because my speech is the weekend of September 7th. And my challenge is, what should I be doing besides what I'm doing?
Okay. Do you want to give us a little bit more on that? What do you mean? Is there any particular area you want to focus on? Or
like, as far as podcast websites, I love how you say, trust me, because I do trust you. I just wonder what I should be doing on my part. Because honestly, I've never logged in, and I got my password reset for the academy, I'm still trying to track down I don't know if that's the same login as regular podcast websites.
It'll not be the same as your dashboard, no.
Okay. And I can really try to go through all my emails and find that. But from your perspective, I mean, I got my branding coming. What else should I be doing?
We'll just put you, once the branding's done, we'll just put you through the new onboarding process that's launching. It'll be all done this week. So as soon as you're done with the branding, we'll just put you through that launch process, which will be fine. So that'll be all guided, everything there that you need.
Okay. So, and then I'll be building out the website myself.
Not necessarily building it. It'll just need customizing. That's all. Like I said, we've reworked that entire process.
Okay, good.
It will literally be, here's where to put your logo. Here's how to change your colors. What colors do you want? It's always been like that. It just.
Oh, I see. I have such a resistance there, so that's good to know.
Yeah, it'll be nice and straightforward. So we'll just get you through the new onboarding process.
Okay.
And pick that up. That'll be launching. I'm going to finish all the tutorials this week, so we'll get that out next week. Okay.
I leave Saturday, and I won't have any internet access where I'm going.
Okay.
But it won't be a bad thing to unplug for a week either.
Yeah, and you and I got the one-to-one rebooked as well for the 20th, so that's good.
Yes, thank you for that. I appreciate your understanding.
No problem. It's all good. Cool. Well, good. Well, yeah, let's keep us posted on the branding. I think get some feedback on the branding from everyone and roll it through the Slack channels and so on, and let's get that done. I think get a deadline on that as well, just so look, I need it delivered by X date and just get that working.
I want the branding done by the end of August is what I told my person. So
maybe give them a little bit more time.
Okay.
You got to balance good versus rushed.
Yes.
If I was getting a brand done, I wouldn't give them any less than a month on it.
Okay.
Personally, but that's just, I'm a little bit funny with branding.
Well, no, I need the guidance. I worked with designers years ago, but I'm out of the game. So
let us know on the proposal and we'll see what the score is. Because it depends what they've pitched as well. If they're pitching just a quick identity, that can be done a little bit quicker. If they're pitching a full brand, that requires a heck of a lot more thinking. So we'll figure that out. Just let us know what the proposal's like, and we can all help on that, I'm sure.
Okay. And then also just any thoughts on what you see as full branding? Like, what do you see that encompasses? So that I have something to compare to when I see the proposal.
Go and look at the 2 Academy workshops about branding.
Okay.
That will tell you all of my thoughts right there.
Got it. Thanks.
It's a good one, actually. I think there's 2. I think there's 2 in there.
What are the names of it, Mark? The 2 branding ones?
Something branding and something branding. I can't remember what they're called. But they're very obviously in there. One of them's with Kai Wilkinson. Just go and check that one out. That's the most recent one.
Okay. So when you say, is it a readable or is it a viewable? Is it a video? Or,
yeah, it's a video. I'll have a quick look now.
Video. Okay.
One sec. I think it's not the last one. It's maybe the couple before that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, copy link. I'll put them in Slack. You'll just need to log in to get them, obviously.
Thank you.
So 1 is that one. 2 is that one. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you. I think I've covered that. I think I'm just ready for the next phase of getting the online presence.
Yeah, I agree definitely with that one. I definitely agree. Cool. Yeah, I think there are more. I think there's actually more in there, Andrew, just thinking about it. You've got your avatar worksheets.
Okay, cool.
I would also do this one, which I'll put in for you.
You're putting it in Slack?
Yeah, it's in the discussion tab. I would do...
Thanks.
Oh, there they are.
I think that's all you need, actually.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
And then all the associated resources.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that's a good one, that. So, Cam, do you want to spend a bit more time on that kind of planning on the delegation side of things? I think it's quite important to dig into that. Or do you want me to just kind of lead in with what I had planned? Or do you need to spend any more time on that one?
I don't need to spend any more time. I'm guilty of giving Rick a little too much rope, and I think I got the process down, the delegation right. It's not like this is my first rodeo with having people work for me, but it's just it's the old. I'm just going to have to, and I don't want to say I'm going to get tougher. But I bet the accountability word continues to creep up inside my, and I'm kind of big on that personally. So why shouldn't I hold it for my VA?
Yeah, amen to that. Well, let us know if you need anything on that. We can always chat in Slack or on the one-to-one. Just keep us posted, I guess.
Thank you.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Mark, I'm excited that we went back because I did have a quick question in development of us as a group and individuals. And the one day foreseeable future, maybe we'll have someone like a VA like Carm has. And you said something that was really important, because I said I was focused on the metric of the hours. Hey, you're paying this guy 40 hours. And you said, nope, don't. That's the wrong metric that you're measuring against. It's the output of the work. And it's funny because I like to live like that on my daily basis with my current position. So I thought, oh, why when I would be paying someone, I would be measuring it differently. And so I started really thinking as happened, how does one perfect what that output is? So I totally agree. If you can do 40 hours worth of work in 10 hours, more power to you, because that's the output that I expected of you. How do you measure that, or how do you set that and you say, okay, I feel that I'm giving X individual 40 hours worth of work, or I really have only given them 5 hours worth of work, or I done blasted the individual and I just gave them 80 hours worth of work and I'm expecting them to finish in 40 hours. You know what I'm saying? How do you learn that task giving or management?
You just got to make sure your numbers are going in the right way, because you'll never it's not about giving them too much work or not enough work. You just got to make sure that the right things are getting done to make your numbers go the right way. Like we just started tracking a hell of a lot more here, like literally today. So you've got to make sure that if you're doing whatever you're doing has got to contribute to the bottom line of it. Otherwise, it's totally pointless. You may as well just go back to being a solo person and making your living. That's the baseline, is that whatever you can get done in 40 hours a week to earn enough money to live, that's always like the worst case. You know what I mean? That's it. So when you build a team, or when you build out a VA system, or however you work with people, it's got to be, well, what increase do I expect in this? So if you're investing $1,000 a month, you'd expect someone to earn for the business $6,000-7,000 a month. If you're spending $50,000 a year, you want to be earning $250,000 a year back from that investment. And if that number's not moving, if they're not going in that right direction, it doesn't matter really about the time. It's got to just be, is that metric moving in the right direction? So you've got to figure out what is the key metric. Well, the core metric is probably the revenue, but then what drivers to that are there? So like with us, it might be annual member sales, it might be monthly member sales, then it'll be the paid tier of the academy, it'll be sales calls booked, it will be cancellations coming down or staying the same, or whatever we want to measure. But then that's to make those things go up, we've got to increase the website visitors. And to make those things go up, we've got to create the right quality and type of content and do it efficiently, but and create some really effective content. So to do all of that stuff, it's not about we need 40 hours a week per person to do that. It's about actually we need a flow and a process to define what's going to work and get it out the door in a good quality, timely way to push the numbers up. Now, that might be done in 20 hours a week, might be done in 60 hours a week. And you won't know that until you start doing it. But at the same time, you got to...
So the metric you said is real simple, not simple, but that just kind of just blew me away. So roughly 6 times. So if you're paying someone $1,000, you expect a 6-fold return.
Oh yeah, I'd say that. A lot of people say like 3-4 times, but I say just go 6-7 times on that one. Because we're in a slightly different environment. It's recurring stuff. We're not serving into so far as let's do consulting. That's time bound stuff. You know, we just, last week, my entire goal was making the academy into a paid for membership. And that was my entire sole focus. But now there are 700 free members in the academy that can all be sold the paid tier, and then eventually podcast websites. You know, so that's my 1 week of my time will just now then forever continue to generate revenue, theoretically. And that's what you've got to start thinking like. Yeah, sure, you've got to be getting your value for money on the hours, but you've got to make sure that you invest in the right type of thing. You know, it's not just, and spin it the other way. Like if you're, in Calm's case, you know, if you're using someone like Rick to save you time, then you've got to consider, right, okay, let's even maybe just treat him as a 1-for-1. So I spend $1,000 a month. He's going to give me $1,000 a month's worth of time back, or whatever, 40 hours, however, just a 1-to-1 mapping of his time. But that means you've got to generate 6 times what you're supposed to be generating, because you're the value earner. He might be the admin, the support team. So it does vary on types of people as well. So it's just about making sure that you've got the right people doing the right thing. So it's a funny one, but having said that, you know, to put it into some context for Calm, you know, there are certain times when you have to have those hours in place. So like here, like I said, in our business, up until even now, we've just kind of got a rule that nothing really should go out after 4 o'clock on an afternoon, because attention spans are low. There's a less chance of people being around to personally QC it. So for Rick and Calm, you know, what's the overlap? You know, if you've only got 2 hours a day where you're overlapping on time, like the stuff where you need each other has to be done in that time. So it's just about learning to find that groove with it, I think. I know that's a very convoluted answer to that.
I appreciate it, because I had not thought about it like that in the past. And that's one of the challenges that I have, is that I don't think about it in those metrics or in that capacity. I have the capacity to think like that. I just never been taught or had to think of it like that, where I really just thought, from Carm and Rick's example, that Carm just got 40 hours back of his life. I never thought that there had to be a 6-fold return and growth. Like, I'm just kind of like, whoa. Like, so it's putting things into context that I think I'm not there yet, but I can see, you know, I can see it. I'm not close to it, but I can see it down there. And I would always be like, how is that going to work? But this is a great mustard seed planted, because that 6 times 7-fold is now something that I want to try to apply to myself and say, all right, is the action that I'm doing now going to yield 6 to 7 times return?
And you've truly got to think about your numbers. This is where everyone that is struggling to make the money online, I can almost guarantee you they either have the numbers written down and think they're doing something about them, or they don't think that the numbers matter. 90% of people aren't doing enough to increase the right numbers. That's it. You know, like, so Calm, for you, it might be you need to increase the number of things to sell, and you can only sell downloads or shows, so you increase those. Louisa, you've got to increase email addresses. That is it. That is the one number you've got to push up. For you, Andrew, I'd posit that it's connections. You know, the one number that you got to increase is connections. Rick, for you, let's take the speaking side of things. It's, you've got the 200 out there, but you've got to get the 2,000 out there, because you know what the return rates are. You know, there's only one metric you have to get up, and it's not the number of things that you're putting out there. It's the conversion rate. You know, so you can send to 200 people, but if you're getting 10 back or 20 back, what can you do to get 40 back? What's the difference? And then Raf, with you, all you got to do is give out all those stickers. That is the only one number. That is it. But then then you add bigger metrics on, like, you kind of reverse engineer it. Like from our side, it's revenue, and then you work down and figure out what you need to increase on the bottom line. For you guys that are certainly kind of in the more early stages of it, it's what do you start with? What's the basic figure? And then you work up to the revenue. You know?
Yeah. And what you just said right now, going through the example of everybody, because we know one another. I know Carm, I know Louisa, Rick, and Andrea, and we know our stories, and including myself. When you just identify that it just put this all into context. Where before I was handing out stickers because it was fun, and I knew that the stickers was the meat and potatoes of it. But now I get it. I'm like, oh crap. That's why passing out the stickers is that important. I get it. So it's very timely. Awesome. Thank you.
And it's a difficult thing because a lot of people will do, like, one of the biggest things that frustrates me in business is people doing back-patting work. Like, sitting in front of your computer for 10 hours a day is not anything to be proud of. It's ridiculous. And it's one of those things where, unless you're doing work that you can actually say is moving things forward, you know, there were 1,000 things that I could have done last week, but getting that membership tier dialed in means that we were able to then launch and get 700 members. The week before Podcast Movement, that 1 week, all I had to do was get Productivity's registration page done. That was it, because that would then give me the numbers that I needed for the next part of the plan. You know, so you've got to just figure out what do you need to be increasing. So again, you know, Carm and Rick are really good examples of this. Rick wants more speaking gigs. You've only got two options. You send more proposals out, or you try and convert more proposals that you've already sent. That's it. You know, either increase the baseline number or you increase the conversions. Carm, from your side, you can only sell two things at the minute. You sell numbers, and what do you increase the numbers of? Is it downloads on one show? Or is it aggregate numbers across a network? You know, what numbers can you increase? That should be your just entire focus. Louisa, email addresses. You know, you've just got to think, what can I have the lowest touch and the lowest impact for me, but increase the numbers disproportionately for that action? You know, so me going to Podcast Movement it's easy. I can go out and give 750 shirts away and increase the numbers that I need to increase. But while I'm there, I can do a talk and I can have a booth, and that will 3x or 5x the number of inquiries that you get. So it's like, what's the maximum bang for the buck? Like, that time was already spent. I'd already spent that time. I was going to be there. So what can you do with that? Andrew, from your side, the connections, actually, rather than just making the connection, you follow it up. You have a really set, almost like Rascot, at the end of this conversation, I will always close with, let's jump on a call, or let's do this together, let's do it. This is back to, kind of ties back into this, you know, I said ages ago, get this one thing of consistency. This is, my bottom baseline now is go sign up for the free academy. No one says no to it. No one. Or come on my free coaching. No one says no to it. There's no risk. So you kind of got to have the bottom end of that funnel sorted. What is that one consistent thing you can tell people to do? And it pushes people up and up and up and up and up.
What do you recommend? This is fascinating. This is some good. Do you recommend a book, or is this something that we can dig deeper into? I mean, like this is enough for me right now, because my brain is just literally just processing this information, like in an aha moment. What is this called? Like, is this called funnels? Is this called business management? Like, what is this?
This is like a combination of business logic and marketing. It's bringing all those things. That's just bringing all these different sides of things that I've done over the years, from software.
Yeah.
It's all just marketing, basically.
Yeah.
If
so
you
it's
want
just
to,
experience based. Yeah. I mean, like this is the kind of the stuff that I didn't get from my MBA program. This isn't the stuff that, you know, and again, so that's where I sometimes say I have all this useless base knowledge, but I have trouble in applying it. And this is key right here. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
we'll put the thing to do with that one, just give James a quick email. James@podcastwebsites.com. So we're opening it up a little bit more, so you can do a little bit more on like requesting the kind of stuff that you need help with. So if you want to drop an email into James, like I said, James@podcastwebsites.com, it's something that we can do more on. I can do some workshops on it, or the team can do some workshops on it and do a little bit more around the marketing stuff. Jess is also going to be doing a hell of a lot more in the academy. She's come on pretty much as director of content for the academy, so you're going to get a lot more on the monetization and the business aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
So drop an email into James on that, James@podcastwebsites.com, and just say, I'd like to know more about this stuff, and we can get that in the academy.
Because this is key. This is great. great
business
first
stuff.
runs on it. Yeah, but it's just one of these things where I'm like almost just blown away at the 6 to 7 return on investment.
It's a big thing to ask for, but it's doable. And if it's not returning, then there's something broken. Louisa,
Right.
just to pick your thing up, we'll wrap it in a minute or two, but just to pick your idea up. Yeah, they sign up for free and then they get to some bordered blocked content they can upgrade if they want to. There's not, when you look at the membership community, there's not too many sites that are running a purely free model. There's not that many that are doing that. It's actually normally a tripwire, like $5-10. Normally they're getting people on an email list, then pushing them to a membership. What we're doing is literally giving everyone free access. You can just create a profile. It was literally the biggest, most successful campaign we've done at Podcast Movement. Everyone was signing up. Just because there's no risk, and there's shit tons of value in there as well. So it's worth thinking about. It's definitely worth thinking about. But yeah, Raf, if you want to put an email in, james@podcastwebsites.com, just let him know what you want more about, and we can work on that.
Yeah, it's kind of one of these things that you don't know what you don't know, right? I don't know that I need these things until you mention it. And because this all started with Carm talking about his VA in 40 hours, and you basically said that metric is the wrong metric. And then it led to this idea of like, whoa. And so I guess all that business knowledge is not useless. It's just it's not applied in the right way, because you are very right. In trusting you, I understood the value of passing out the stickers, but no one around me understands it. Everybody around me says, so you're selling a sticker? No, I'm not selling it. I'm giving it away. You're giving away a sticker. That's right. And my goal is to give 1 million away. And they're just like, well, standard business is you buy a burger, you get a burger, right? You sell a sticker, you get a sticker, right? And so, but the idea that I'm trying to get at is we all have different numbers and different values to those numbers, and increasing those numbers is what we're doing, and that's part of this.
Yeah, the sticker thing's
it's
in a
just
way
radical. It's almost just radical to kind of tweak it like that, to say, well, it's not really all about dollars, it's about this other thing. And you went down the list here.
It's an awareness campaign. That's it. You're doing a pre-launch awareness campaign with the stickers. That's all that is. So right, I need to wrap it.
But you went through each individual, and each individual has its own number. That's kind of why I said it was very valuable, is that you went through everybody here today, and you pointed out the very various paths that we have, various careers, the various angles, but you pointed out the certain numbers, and not one individual other than yourself did you focus on revenue or monetary. There was other numbers other than that.
Yeah,
and I think that's important.
The revenue comes as a proxy of doing that. It always does. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's base. If you think about that, it's just base online marketing. It's affiliate. Worst case, you build your numbers up and you sell other stuff to them. It's all numbers. Right? It's all numbers.
Pretty incredible.
Right, I've got to shoot. I've got to wrap it. I've got another call in 3 minutes at 5 past. It's really packed today, so I have to wrap on time. But we can talk about this more. Drop me a line in the Slack group, or if you want some Academy content in there, send that through to james@podcastwebsites.com. We're going to start doing a lot more. My focus and Jess's focus over the next 5 years is monetizing small audiences. There's the book coming down the line. There's a lot of other stuff coming down the line that you guys don't yet know about. So it's good time to be involved. So drop me a line in Slack. Let us know what you need via the Academy, and I'll see you all on your one-to-ones. We'll be back next week, actually, next Monday, and then one-to-ones next Tuesday.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Much
Mark.
love. Bye.
Break on 3.
Break on 3.
Break on 3.